Most older men believe that younger women lose interest because of age alone. But the truth runs deeper. Psychology plays a massive role. Attraction isn't just about money, looks, or status. It's about energy, mindset, and behavior. Younger women crave excitement, confidence, and emotional connection, and when that fades, so does their interest. Many older men unknowingly sabotage themselves by acting in ways that kill attraction. They fall into comfort zones, project insecurity, or treat women like trophies rather than partners. Psychology shows that women are hardwired to seek growth, passion, and leadership in a man. When those qualities disappear, so does desire. This video will break down the hidden psychological reasons younger women lose interest and how you can avoid falling into these traps. Because if you don't understand her psychology, you'll always misinterpret her actions. 1. Comfort kills desire. Here's the hard truth most older men don't want to face. Women don't lose interest overnight. They lose it slowly, drip by drip, every time you choose comfort over passion. When a younger woman first gets with an older man, she's usually drawn to his maturity, his stability, his confidence. But once that stability turns into routine and that maturity turns into laziness, attraction begins to die. She doesn't want a man who's predictable like a boring TV rerun. She wants a man who makes her feel something: excitement, curiosity, desire. And here's where older men often fail. They stop creating those emotions. Comfort feels good to you. You've lived, you've worked, you've battled life, and now you think you've earned the right to just relax. To you, it feels logical. To her, it feels like you've given up. Think about it. When you first met her, you were sharp. You dressed well, spoke with energy, made her feel chosen. But once you got comfortable, the little things started to slip. Maybe you don't plan dates anymore. Maybe your conversations are the same every night. Maybe you've replaced adventure with the couch and Netflix, and she notices. She feels the spark dying, and psychologically, she translates that into one word: boredom. And boredom is poison to attraction. Younger women thrive on novelty because their world is still expanding. They're still curious about life, still chasing experiences. If you stop evolving, she feels like she's dating a man who's already finished his story while she's still writing hers. That imbalance slowly pushes her away. It's not that she hates you. It's that her biology is wired to chase energy and growth, and if you don't provide it, she'll subconsciously look elsewhere. The fix? Stop confusing stability with stagnation. Stability means she feels safe with you, but desire needs mystery, challenge, and excitement. Surprise her. Try new things. Show her you're still growing, still improving, still hungry for life. Nothing is more attractive to a younger woman than an older man who refuses to get comfortable, who refuses to let life make him dull. Comfort kills desire, but growth keeps it alive. If you want her to stay interested, never stop evolving. 2. Insecurity shows, even if you hide it. One of the biggest psychological turnoffs for younger women in relationships with older men isn't the age gap. It's insecurity. Most men think they can mask it with money, gifts, or attention, but insecurity always finds a way to bleed through. It shows in the way you question her loyalty, in the way you compare yourself to younger guys, and in the way you constantly need reassurance. You might not say it outright, but your energy screams it. And women are incredibly tuned into energy. A younger woman can sense insecurity the same way you can sense desperation in a salesperson. It feels forced, needy, and unattractive. At first, she may tolerate it. She may even try to comfort you, telling you that you're the one she wants, not the guys her age. But over time, that constant need for validation exhausts her. Instead of feeling secure in your presence, she starts feeling responsible for your emotions. That's not attraction. That's emotional babysitting. And once she feels like your therapist instead of your partner, the spark starts to die. Psychology proves this. Attraction requires polarity. Masculine energy creates desire when it stands strong, centered, and unshaken. Insecurity flips that balance. You stop being the grounded leader and start becoming the man who seeks approval. The irony is, many older men have every reason not to be insecure. You've lived more, experienced more, maybe even achieved more than the average younger guy. But the moment you compare yourself to them, whether it's their looks, their stamina, or their social media attention, you've already lost. Because women aren't comparing your wrinkles to his muscles. They're comparing your confidence to his. And if you flinch, you've lost the game. So what's the fix? Own your age. Own your presence. Own the fact that what makes you attractive isn't being like the younger guys, it's being completely different from them. Stop asking questions that come from fear like, do you still love me? Or why do you follow him? And start asking questions that come from strength like, where do you want to travel next? Or what challenge are we taking on together? Insecurity makes her feel like she's dating down. Confidence makes her feel like she won the jackpot. And when you radiate the calm, steady assurance of a man who knows his value, her psychology responds instantly. She relaxes, she trusts, and yes, she stays attracted. 3. Acting like her father, not her partner. Here's a brutal truth many older men don't realize until it's too late. Younger women lose interest the moment you start acting like her father instead of her lover. At first, she may appreciate your guidance, your experience, and your wisdom. She might even admire the way you've figured things out. But over time, if your role in her life shifts from partner to parent, attraction doesn't just fade, it collapses. Nobody wants to sleep with their dad. And if you start lecturing, controlling, or teaching her lessons every time she does something you don't like, you've unknowingly stepped into that fatherly role. It usually starts small. Maybe you correct her decisions a little too often. Maybe you talk down to her, reminding her of what you've seen in life or how much more you know. You might think you're helping, but what she feels is condescension. Instead of standing beside her, you stand above her. And here's the psychological switch. Attraction thrives on equality mixed with polarity. She wants you to lead, yes, but she doesn't want to be treated like a child who can't think for herself. The moment she feels patronized, her respect drops, and once respect is gone, desire soon follows. Women crave emotional connection, not hierarchy. When you become overly protective, overly critical, or overly directive, she feels suffocated. Younger women are still exploring independence, identity, and freedom. If being with you feels like living under rules, restrictions, and lectures, her subconscious interprets the relationship as imprisonment, not romance. She'll start pulling away. Not because she doesn't like you, but because her psychology demands she escapes authority to find attraction again. The fix? Shift from parent mode to partner mode. Instead of correcting her, collaborate with her. Instead of lecturing, listen. Instead of dictating, inspire. Let her see that your age gives you wisdom, not control. Share experiences without making them commandments. She'll respect you more for treating her as a partner, not a student. The most attractive older men are those who bring guidance when needed, but never smother a woman's independence. They balance leadership with partnership, strength with humility. When you master that balance, she won't see you as a father figure. She'll see you as the man she chooses over everyone else. 4. Neglecting physical energy and appearance. One of the biggest mistakes older men make with younger women is assuming that once she's chosen you, the work is done. You relax, you let yourself go. You stop hitting the gym, stop caring about how you dress, and stop putting effort into the physical energy you bring into the relationship. But here's the raw truth. Attraction is tied to biology. Women are instinctively drawn to vitality, strength, and presence. It's not about having the body of a 20-year-old or looking like a movie star. It's about radiating health, discipline, and masculine energy. When you neglect your body and your appearance, what she sees isn't just a man aging, it's a man giving up. Think about it. When you first met her, you probably carried yourself differently. You stood tall, spoke with energy, dressed sharp, maybe even worked out regularly. That effort communicated something powerful. I value myself. But over time, many older men let life's comfort creep in. Meals replace workouts, routine replaces discipline, and suddenly your body language shifts. You slouch more, move slower, and your wardrobe screams low effort. She notices these things. Women are wired to pick up on subtle cues of strength and vitality. When she sees you losing that energy, she feels it on a subconscious level. Her attraction meter starts ticking down. Now here's the deeper psychology. It's not just about looks. It's about what your body says about your mindset. A man who takes care of his health, his style, and his physical energy communicates ambition, control, and self-respect. A man who neglects it communicates resignation. And to a younger woman, that resignation feels like a preview of the relationship's future. Dull, slow, uninspiring. Attraction dies not because you're older, but because you stopped fighting for growth. The fix? Bring back discipline. Start caring again. Hit the gym, not to impress her, but to remind yourself you're still in the game. Upgrade your wardrobe, not to look trendy, but to carry yourself with pride. Move with energy, speak with power, and show her that age hasn't stolen your vitality. Because here's the truth. Nothing is sexier to a younger woman than an older man who defies the stereotype of slowing down. When you radiate health and strength, you don't just keep her attracted, you make her brag to her friends about how you outshine men half your age. 5. Forgetting how to be playful. Another psychological trap older men fall into is losing their sense of playfulness. In the beginning, you probably joked with her, teased her, flirted effortlessly, and created a fun, light energy that kept her hooked. But over time, many older men let seriousness dominate the relationship. Life responsibilities, work stress, or simply the mindset of, "I'm too old for games," creeps in, and suddenly, the dynamic shifts. What used to be exciting becomes heavy. What used to feel adventurous now feels routine. And here's the secret. Younger women don't just want a provider or protector. They want a partner who makes them feel alive. Psychologically, women are drawn to men who can shift their emotions. Playfulness is powerful because it sparks laughter, joy, and unpredictability, all emotions that feed attraction. When you stop being playful, you stop creating emotional highs. Without those highs, she starts to feel like the relationship is more like a job than an adventure. And once it feels like a job, her desire to stay invested fades fast. Remember, she's younger. Her world is still about experiences, spontaneity, and fun. If you act like a grumpy old man who's too tired for that energy, she'll naturally drift toward people who bring it. The irony? Many older men actually think being playful will make them look immature. But the truth is the opposite. Immaturity is when you can't handle responsibility. Playfulness is when you can handle life's weight and still keep things light. That balance is incredibly attractive. It tells her you're not crushed by life, you're thriving in it. And that thriving energy is what makes her want to be around you more than anyone else. So how do you fix this? Bring back flirtation. Tease her gently. Surprise her with something small but fun. Make inside jokes. Play music and dance around the living room. Do something silly, just because. Show her you're not just a man of stability. You're a man who can turn ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Younger women stay attracted to older men who refuse to let their inner spark die. Playfulness keeps things fresh, keeps her guessing, and keeps her coming back for more. Because the truth is simple. When she's laughing with you, she's loving you. And when she's loving you, she's not looking anywhere else. 6. Overcompensating with money or status. Here's a mistake older men make all the time. They believe the key to keeping a younger woman interested is to throw money, gifts, or status at her. On the surface, it works. Fancy dinners, vacations, expensive bags. It feels like she's impressed. But underneath, psychology works differently. Attraction doesn't grow from material things. It grows from who you are. When you start overcompensating with money or status, you send her a subtle but dangerous message. I don't believe I'm enough on my own. And that insecurity eventually kills the very attraction you're trying to build. At first, she might enjoy the lifestyle. Who wouldn't like nice dinners or trips? But here's what you don't realize. When everything you bring to the table is material, she subconsciously begins to separate her feelings for you from her enjoyment of the lifestyle. In her mind, she thinks, do I like him, or do I just like what he gives me? That thought alone plants the seed of doubt. And once doubt creeps in, attraction weakens. Psychology shows us that real desire thrives on emotional connection, respect, and passion, not transactions. If she starts to feel like she's bought rather than chosen, her interest will inevitably fade. Here's the other danger. Money and status attract attention, but they don't create loyalty. When you lead with wealth, you attract women who value wealth. The problem? Someone richer, flashier, or younger with the same wealth can easily replace you. But when you lead with confidence, energy, and presence, you attract women who value you. And that kind of attraction is far harder to break. The fix isn't to stop providing. It's to stop depending on providing as your only value. Be generous, but let generosity come from abundance, not fear. Use your resources to create memories, not cages. Take her on adventures that deepen your bond instead of trying to prove your worth with price tags. Let her see that you're a man who chooses to share his success, not a man who needs to buy affection. Younger women respect and admire older men who stand strong in their identity, regardless of wealth. The money is a bonus, not the foundation. And when she feels your confidence is what drives your generosity, not insecurity, you stop being her wallet and start being her world. 7. Losing ambition and drive. The final and perhaps most devastating mistake older men make is losing their ambition. Younger women are drawn to older men because of what they represent: stability, wisdom, experience, and most importantly, direction. When you have goals, when you're chasing something bigger than yourself, you radiate a magnetic energy. You're not just a man living day to day. You're a man with purpose. But when you lose that fire, when you start coasting, she feels it instantly. Nothing drains attraction faster than a man who acts like his best years are behind him. At first, she may be impressed with what you've already achieved. Maybe you've built a career, bought the house, or ticked off some life milestones. But if that's all you talk about, your past, your achievements, your glory days, she'll quickly realize you're stuck in reverse. Psychology proves this. Women are wired to be attracted to progress, to motion, to men who are becoming more, not just remembering when they once were. If your mindset is, I've already done enough, her subconscious translates that into, he's finished growing. And attraction thrives only in growth. Think of it like this. Ambition is oxygen for desire. Without it, the fire suffocates. When you stop setting goals, stop learning, stop pushing yourself, you're not just stagnating. You're silently telling her, this is as good as it gets. And for a younger woman, still exploring, still dreaming, that's a terrifying message. She doesn't want to be stuck with someone who's given up. She wants to be inspired by someone who shows her that life is still full of possibilities. The fix is simple, but not easy. Reignite your drive. It doesn't have to mean chasing millions or building an empire. It could mean fitness goals, personal growth, new skills, or creative projects. Show her that you're not just aging, you're evolving. Let her see that your ambition is alive, that your fire still burns, that you're still hungry for life. Younger women stay attracted to older men who defy the stereotype of slowing down and instead embody the idea that life keeps getting better. Because when she sees your ambition, she sees a future with you. And when she sees a future, she never loses interest. So here's the bottom line. Younger women don't lose interest in older men because of the number of candles on the birthday cake. They lose interest because of the patterns older men fall into. Comfort replaces excitement. Insecurity replaces confidence. Fatherly lectures replace partnership. Neglect replaces vitality. Seriousness replaces playfulness. Money replaces presence. And worst of all, stagnation replaces ambition. Each of these mistakes chips away at the very psychology of attraction until one day, she looks at you and feels nothing but distance. But the good news, every single one of these traps can be avoided if you stay awake and intentional. Attraction isn't about pretending to be 25 again. It's about owning your age with confidence, keeping your energy sharp, and showing her that your growth never stops. Younger women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for passion. They're not searching for a bank account. They're searching for a man who makes them feel alive. And if you can give her that, she won't just stay interested, she'll stay obsessed. Remember this, masculinity isn't about sitting back and coasting. It's about leading, evolving, and inspiring. If you refuse to let comfort, fear, or stagnation dull your edge, you'll never have to worry about her losing interest. Because psychology is clear. Women are magnetized to men who keep their fire burning. And if you keep that fire alive, she'll never stop wanting to be close to the heat.